lose 5-2 to the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight was the fact the Hawks got walked on in the first period of play. They did. They were flat. They didn't get anything going. They may have outshot the Oilers in the first period, but their shots were one and dones and they really couldn't generate. And the Oilers took charge. Seth Jones had a horrible first period, leading to multiple turnovers to lead to goals against Kevin Lankinen tonight. He actually was good in net for the Hawks. May have not shown that on the goals on the score tonight, but Lankinen played well. He may have let in all 5 goals, but he was what kept the Hawks in it, especially in the second period of play. This was a rough game by the Blackhawks. Luckily, they have another game less than 24 hours from now in Vancouver. So take this as a game of anger and take it out on the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow. Because tonight was just flat out ugly. It was frankly the worst play the Hawks have had in recent weeks. First loss under Derek King as head coach of the team, and this was just a rough loss. I get it. The Oilers are one of the best teams in hockey, but how they played it was probably the worst play the Hawks have had all season. They were terrible on the power play. That led to 2 shorthanded goals against. That should not ever happen. They were okay on the PK, but allowed a power play goal on a 5-on-3 opportunity. This team tonight was just flat and just didn't look like they were ready to go. It was one of those nights. It was a bad game by the Chicago Blackhawks. It's one of those games. Take it and make it a game to remember for a game that you have less than 24 hours later. Because you lose 5-2 to the Edmonton Oilers, you gotta play angry next game since it's a back-to-back. This was a bad game. It was. The Hawks just didn't have anything going for themselves other than Alex DeBrincat, who had himself 2 goals. I already said it. He had 2 goals tonight. But the Hawks just looked flat. They didn't get anything going. So let's look at the shots on net, shall we? Per period. In the first period, as I said, the Hawks outshot the Oilers 17-14 in the first period. Second period, 6-10 in favor for the Oilers, but the Hawks could have really gone down a lot in that second period, which they did not, but they were held in their defensive zone for over 5 minutes in one sequence. 5 minutes in your own defensive zone without a stoppage of play with the same players out for 5 minutes. That's not good. Then third period, 6-9 in favor for the Oilers. Total shots on net, 29-33 in favor for the Oilers. Kevin Lankinen kept us in this game. This loss is not on him. It was on the defense. It was on bad turnovers. It was on just flatness. That's what I have to say. So let's go to the goals of the game, shall we? And most of the goals all came in the first period. The only other 2 came in the third period. So let's get into the goals of the game. 10 minutes and 16 seconds into the first period, Connor McDavid scores his 12th of the season, assisted by Hyman and Bouchard, to make it a 1-0 game Oilers. McDavid extends his 17-game point streak, and, well, this was all set up by a turnover by Seth Jones in the defensive zone. They couldn't get out of the defensive zone. McDavid gets to capitalize at the doorstep, beating Kevin Lankinen. Hawks go on to the PK, and they the Oilers get a power play. But that power play isn't a 5-on-4 goal, because they get it on a power play at 11:19, but we go 5-on-3. Taves takes the second penalty, and the Oilers are on a 5-on-3. A team with the best power play in hockey. You don't want to do this, and you go down by 2, and here we go. Tyson Barrie with his third of the season, assisted by Draisaitl and McDavid to make it 2-0 Oilers. Quick. You're now down 2-0, and it's not done yet. At 15:16 in the first period, Kyle Yamamoto scores shorthanded due to the fact the Hawks' Steph Jones turns the puck right over in the defensive zone, trying to do the push them back entry. It goes right into the slot, and Yamamoto rifles it past Lakeinen, and the Hawks are now down by 3. So, Steph Jones, 2 turnovers leading to goals right here. This goal was really on Jones. He turns it over, it goes right to Yamamoto's stick in the slot, and he buries it past Lakeinen at 15:16, shorthanded for the Oilers. And the Oilers are not done adding to their lead. At 18:32 in the first period, Ryan McLeod to score his second of the season, assisted by Warren Foegele and Philip Broberg, to make it a 4-0 game, Oilers. The Hawks couldn't get it out of the defensive zone. Oilers took control, and McLeod scores his second of the season, kind of right on the doorstep, and making it 4-0 Oilers. The Hawks go down by 4 in a matter of less than 10 minutes. That right there is unacceptable. But the Hawks do get on the board in the first period. At 19:40, there was a double deflection in the offensive zone for the Hawks, and this is scored by number 12, Alex DeBrincat. It was deflected by DeBrincat, then also deflected by Kirby Dach from a shot from Steph Jones. Jones shoots it from the blue line, goes off Dach's stick, and then off of DeBrincat's stick. Even though I never saw it go off Cat's stick, I only saw it go off to Dach's. But Alex DeBrincat gets credited with his first of the night for his 10th of the season. So we go to the second period, where no goals were scored, but the Oilers could have easily made this game out of reach. They could have made it at least 8-1 game if they wanted to. The Hawks were stuck in their defensive zone for 5 minutes. Connor Murphy had a almost 5-minute shift. Same with Caleb Jones. Then Dylan Strome was also on that shift. The Hawks were stuck, and they couldn't get the puck out of their zone. Kevin Lakeinen in that second period made big save after big save to keep the Hawks within 3. So we go to the third period. Hawks down by 3. It's 4-1 Oilers, and the Hawks are changing some lines up. And they do look like they are going to work. They did, actually. The Hawks get a penalty, and it's Kurashev gets sent to the box. At 7 minutes into the third period, Kurashev gets sent to the box, even though he should not have, because McDavid held his stick. Should have been holding on McDavid, but it wasn't. So Kurashev got sent to the box. Hawks kill the power play of the Oilers, and this happened. It's right off after the kill at 9 minutes in the third period. Scored by number 12, Alex DeBrincat. He takes the puck up, gets it to Kurashev coming out of the box. 2-on-0 break. Kurashev over to DeBrincat, and DeBrincat beats Stuart Skinner of the Oilers to make it within 2. This goal by DeBrincat was a nice defensive play by Cat in his defensive zone, getting the puck out into the neutral zone, getting it at the right time out with Kurashev coming out of the box, and the Hawks go up the ice and get a goal. And, well, that's good to see. The Hawks now are within 2. They could maybe make something out of it, but they don't, because the Hawks go back to the penalty kill, and then it's technically killed since the Oilers get called for a penalty, and that's Hyman going to the box. And, well, 4-on-4 hockey for a few minutes, and Hawks go to the power play after it, and, well, 16:28. In the third period, Leon Draisaitl goes on a breakaway for a shorthanded goal for his 18th, yes, 18th of the season to make it 5-2 Oilers. This game was just a flat-out ugly game by the Chicago Blackhawks. The special teams this year usually have been what's kept the Hawks in the games this year. Well, tonight, they weren't. The PK allowed a power play goal. Granted, it was a 5-on-3 against the best power play in the NHL. And then they also allowed 2 short-handed goals and not being able to capitalize when you have a man advantage. They cost themselves. They cost themselves tonight. This was a rough game by the Blackhawks. Remember this and go into tomorrow's action against the Canucks and play your best hockey again. You can do it. You're playing against a weak opponent tomorrow who has not been playing good hockey since we've played them already this season. So the Hawks need to get something where they go into tomorrow's action angry after this loss. So I want to hear what your thoughts were from tonight's action, and thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, remember this game, Hawks, and go into tomorrow night and play your best game.